Welcome everybody to my zombie Halloween makeup look. If you want to see how I created this, keep on watching. You're going to want to get yourself some supplies to start off with. So basically want paintbrushes. These can just be some cheap paintbrushes, thin ones, thick ones, ones used for blending, makeup ones, whatever you've got lying around. And you want to get some cream paints, foundations, eyeshadows, bloods, just basically any special effects stuff that you do have that you think will work. The base of my look, I will be using these transferable prosthetics. So they're made from gelatin. I actually got these from the Party People, so thepartypeople.com.au, and Dean was kind enough to actually give them to me to actually use in this look. So I appreciate that. If you pop onto his website as well, you will also see all the other stuff that you do require. So paints, bloods, all of that. Let's jump into it. So first up, you're going to want clear skin. So the best way to apply prosthetics is to have no oils on your skin. Best way to remove this is using witch hazel. So I'm just getting some of that and popping it over my face to clear anything I've got going on there. All right, so first up, I'm going to be using the nose piece transfer. If you have a look on the back, it'll show you the instructions of what to do and how to follow. But if you just have a look at what I'm doing, I will show you what to do. Basically, you're just peeling the prosthetic off. You're going to flip it over and squeeze it back together on that same sheet. This is actually going to be the transfer part. Just make sure you get all the air bubbles out of it as well, which will make applying it a hell of a lot easier. Then just pop it where you want on your nose. Stick it down. Once it's stuck down, it's stuck down. It is very sticky, this stuff. Then get a wet towel, paper towel, whatever you want. Just dip that in water and then press that on your nose, sort of like you would with a tattoo, like those fake tattoos that you get. So just keep going until the paper is completely doused in water and then slowly peel it off. Next one we're going to do is the mouth piece. So basically do exactly what you did with the nose piece, just placing it on your mouth. Right, so let's get into the colouring and shading. So I'm starting off with the foundation. I'm choosing the lightest colour. This is a cream-based foundation. I'm just taking one of those sponges and just removing little bits of it just to make a like a speckled effect. So just dip the sponge into the creamed paint. I warm up the cream paint on the back of my hands, just makes it easier for application. And then just pop that over the face, not all over the face, just in certain spots that you want to lighten and you want to add depth to. So basically it's going to be a layering process. We're going to go in with all different shades. The shade I'm using is a reddy brown color. This is actually going to add a little bit further depth to the actual skin. So I'm popping that in the areas that I want to actually add that. So around the eyes, around the forehead, and sort of underneath the cheekbones. And just deepening that shade again as well, blending it out a little bit with the stipple sponge and a brush at the same time as well. So use what you have in your toolbox. You don't need any expensive things. You can even use your finger if you wish to do so, just by tapping it out. Okay, so this one is a bruise wheel. So you can see you've got shades of red, blue, green, all the sort of bruise shades that you need. I'm taking the red shade. I'm actually popping that on my eyelids underneath and basically around the eye area. This is actually going to create more redness around that area because obviously you think that you're diseased, you're dead, you're going to have some redness happening around your eyes. Like, It's just inevitable. So again, this is going to help with adding that depth of color and making those eyes more drawn back and sunken in. Taking a different brush here, I'm just stippling it on the face again. So just change up brushes. As I said, even if you don't have brushes, just use your finger. Pop color where you think that it needs to be sunken in more. The darker you make those areas, the more sunken in and I suppose death-like it's going to look. This look is for you to create how you would, I suppose, see a zombie, like completely up to you. It's made to be easy, so I'm just showing you the basics of what to do and then you can make it your own. Popping a bit of the green shade in here, so that's going to give more of like a, I suppose, a bit of a pussy sort of look because it's got a little bit of a yellow tinge to it, this green. Yeah, so I suppose if you're walking around and you're pretty dead, you're going to be coming across some disgusting stuff. So your face is not going to look nice. You just want to add as much of those colors as you can. Changing up palettes here. It's still a cream-based palette. So I'm just taking some of the black. This is actually going to deepen everything that we've already done. You just want to go in underneath the eyes with this. So again, that's going to draw that back and make it more of a sickly feel. Rub that out or blend that out with another pencil brush. This is just going to help spreading it. Get the same stipple brush that I used beforehand and then just going in around the nose area, just sort of where you feel where your eye sockets are and where that is sort of where you're going to be placing all the darker colors. So you sort of want to have that eye socket shape and those sockets want to be pushed back as far as you can. If you apply too much color, no problem, just tap it out with your finger and that'll blend it in and then you can go over with a brown or a red or anything like that to change the color again. Don't forget underneath the mouth part either. So basically this look or this prosthetic shows that the jaw has been completely ripped out on the bottom. So you want to pop as much dark as you can there just so you can't see your mouth area and it looks like there is no bottom jaw. Top teeth will also be casting a shadow on that area. So that's why it's important to actually put a deeper shade there as well. One of my favorite things to do over, well, any paints that I use is to use eyeshadows. Eyeshadows help blend everything together without it actually getting too muddy. Because if you start putting way too many colors together when they're the same texture, so as in cream paints, you're just going to have a really muddled appearance and it's just not going to look right and it's going to look like one hell of a mess. So shadows help with that. All right, so where you have shading, you always need highlighting. So I'm going to be using a liquid white. This is just going to be popped in the high zone areas, so cheekbones, nose, forehead, and sort of around any shading that you do have, just to bring those areas forward and make the shading more sunken back. You can see once you add these highlights that everything pops out a lot more. If you've added too much, you can always tap it out and bring it back down. Now for my favorite bit, blood. So I've chosen two bloods here. I've got more of a liquid blood, which will actually drip down and not really dry so much. And then I've chosen a gel blood, which makes everything look like it's coagulated and pretty messed up. Now, one of my tricks with blood I love doing is using a syringe. So this is for the liquid blood. Just syringe some out and pop it into the areas that you want. So I'm just filling the gaps where the prosthetic was and around the areas where the most blood is going to be from, eating human flesh. This will give you much more control. I also like to use a cotton tip as well. That helps. These are really tiny ones, so I just use that for the other blood. Just pop yourself in some contacts and then just mess your hair up. Pop some colouring through your hair as well to make that look dirty. And there you go. You've got the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you want to keep up to date with any of my looks on social media, my socials are Melissa Jane Artistry. Jayne is Jane. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and happy Halloween.